We love an awesome post-apocalyptic teen drama, but nothing gets past us. Welcome to MsMojo, and today, we're counting down our picks for the top 10 The 100 plot holes you never noticed. For this list, we'll be looking at some of the most noticeable inconsistencies throughout the sci-fi serial drama. We've excluded anything we hope might be addressed in the 7th and final season. Needless to say, a spoiler alert is in effect. If you like what you're hearing, be sure to check out the full song at the link below. Number 10, Becca's Lab. Becca Franco, the creator of the dangerous artificial intelligence ALI, is infamous in the 100 universe. Her creation caused the first nuclear apocalypse that forced humans to go to space because the Earth they had once known was destroyed. But all of this started in her lab on Earth, which the crew eventually rediscovered. While the discovery of the lab brought the storyline full circle and saved many characters, it also left us wondering, how did Becca's lab survive the initial nuclear apocalypse completely untouched?
What are you doing here?
We're not leaving you behind.
In the century before they found it, it seems unlikely that no one had stumbled upon it. The pristine condition of the lab just felt a little unbelievable to us.
Computer, zoom launch sequence.
Resuming launch sequence.
Okay, everybody, let's go!
Minus 51 minutes counting.
Number 9. The class system before the 100 are sent to Earth. In Season 1, the 100 are sent to the ground and chaos erupts, with Clark Griffin and Wells Jaha its center.
Relax. We're just trying to figure out where we are.
We're on the ground. That not good enough for you?
Because their parents were in government, the two were seen as higher class, and other characters from the 100 see them as spoiled rich kids. Bellamy Blake, Octavia's older brother, is seen as lower class, which leads to a lot of conflict with Wells.
You can stop this.
Stop this? I'm just getting started.
Aside from this initial tension, the class system that developed on the Ark is never really explained. How is class even distinguished? Was it based on jobs or ancestry? Even though the class conflict adds to the plot of Season 1, we know so little about life on the Ark before the 100 were sent to Earth. We would love a prequel that could fill in these gaps.
Don't people deserve to know the truth?
Number 8. Why are there not more doctors? One of Clark Griffin's most important roles on the ground is being a medic. She learned medicine from her mother and is constantly called on to save her friends, and even sometimes her enemies.
Get my mother on the radio now! Raven, now!
We love seeing Clark save the day, but it makes us ask, where are all the other doctors? Throughout the series, we see Clark's mom, Abby, mentor Clark, and fellow Ark medical officer Jackson, but they've been in space for almost a century.
It's out! She did it.
You'd think that medical officers would be some of the most important people on the Ark because the future of humanity depended on their survival. So we want to know why there are so few.
Clark! Octavia? She just stopped breathing. Okay, get her on the table.
This is one plot hole we would have loved to see addressed. Number 7. Mount Weather Guards. At the end of Season 2, we got an intense standoff between the Grounders and the Mount Weather people.
Emerson,
Sir.
they're watching us from the command center. Go kill them all.
Mount Weather had just started their bone marrow treatment on their residents, which they were taking from the 100 to give to their people to survive the radiation.
What are they doing to you?
When Clark acts and irradiates the mountain, all the Mount Weather people, except for Emerson and Cage, die. However, we previously saw some people, including a Mount Weather guard, having the supposedly life-saving treatment performed on them.
Is that a drill? Bone marrow extraction.
This would have made them immune to Clark's actions. Was there something wrong with the treatments the guards received, or is this another plot hole? Number 6. The science never makes sense. Set in a world after a nuclear apocalypse, you would think that the technology and science on the 100 would reflect a future world with significant advances.
Hey, try doing that hanging upside down.
This will work.
But from episode to episode, the science doesn't add up. The reactions the characters have to different environments are inconsistent and hard to believe.
I'm not crazy.
No,
No one thinks you are.
Even though the 100 spent their entire lives in space, they don't seem to notice a difference with gravity on Earth. There's also the huge question of radiation immunity and the inconsistencies surrounding it.
Becca was trying to find a cure for cancer using this radiation chamber. Clerk. We would have to expose a human being to enough radiation that would implode every single cell in their body.
Even though we love this sci-fi make-believe world, we wish the science made a little more sense. Number 5. The Grounders speaking English. The 100 first meet the Grounders, who are humans who survived the first apocalypse on Earth in Season 1. When they become the main enemies in their initial time on Earth, Octavia Blake befriends a Grounder warrior named Lincoln.
Thank you. You saved my life.
At first, the 100 think that the Grounders are unable to understand them as they speak their own language, but it's then revealed that some of them speak English.
Thank you.
Lincoln and Octavia are able to communicate, for instance, but Lincoln says that that's because their warriors learn English. However, we actually see other Grounders speak English throughout the series, regardless of age or job. Did this change over the course of the Grounders' interaction with the 100? Is Lincoln lying, or is this another plot hole?
Just talk to them. Tell them you're not the enemy.
I am.
Number 4. The Grounders after Praimfaya. After the nuclear apocalypse known as Praimfaya, some of the people left on Earth formed a new society. Becca, the scientist behind the disaster, ends up returning to Earth from space, and is greeted like a god when she arrives.
I'm here to help!
What we don't get is why the ancestors to the Grounders didn't know that she was just another human. The people left on Earth would have survived a society that resembled ours pretty closely, from technology to religion, and would have had a good grasp on space travel. A spaceship arriving on Earth would not have been anything new, especially since not that much time had passed. We understand that Becca being seen as a god sets up the storyline for future seasons, but we find it hard to believe that this is how she would have been greeted. Number 3. Radioactive Animals. Season 1 introduces us to an entirely new Earth through the eyes of the 100, from new environments to changed plants. A huge aspect of this new world is the radioactive animals.
No animals, huh?
The 100 meet many animals who have been altered by the radiation on Earth after the nuclear fallout, and it's altered their appearance, showing us new mutations.
Hello, beautiful. Hey, where are you going?
However, after Season 1, we see few, if any, animals, even though the show is mainly set in forests. Surviving the elements is a huge part of the first season, but later the characters seem to forget the dangers they faced at the beginning. Have the 100 figured out how to better deal with animals, or the writers just forget about them? Number 2. Lexa's blood was red in Season 2.
Get it over with.
Juice drain, juice down.
Near the end of Season 2, we see Lexa, the commander of the Grounders, hurt and covered in blood. From later seasons, we know that Lexa became commander because she's one of the very few Nightbloods, a special group of people with black blood who are not affected by the radiation on Earth. However, we see her bleed red so very early in the series.
What did you do? What you would have done. Save my people.
This makes us wonder whether Nightbloods were a plot device added later, or if it was someone else's blood that we saw. We want to give the writers the benefit of the doubt, but this looks like a clear oversight to us.
I don't sin in, she'd be like I gaff sin in.
So I have
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Main characters forgetting about other characters. The 100 has given us some of our favorite TV sci-fi characters, but it seems like some of the characters disappear for seasons at a time with little explanation. There are so few people left on Earth during the time and place that the show is set that it seems unlikely that these characters would not pop up every now and again.
Okay, report to engineering and we'll get you started.
Roger that.
Thank you, sir.
Why do characters like Jacopo Sinclair and Kyle Wick disappear or are killed off without a proper goodbye? Callie, Abby's best friend from the pilot, is also never seen again.
She's my best friend.
So what do you want me to say?
I'm sorry.
We get that sometimes disputes with the actors or changes in the cast lead to things like this, but we just wish these plot holes were dealt with better, or at least given proper closure.
It's a tough ask, not without more data.
Okay, so they make fog that melts people.
Do you agree with our picks? Let us know in the comments. And hey, if you're a fan of the song playing right now, be sure to check out the music video for it right here.